Alright guys, nothing happened, and that's a little bit too, it's a bit too strange in my opinion, okay? Because we've been coming from 6 months, oh, and actually happy July, you know, like we're just getting to July, 1st of July. So we've been coming from a couple weeks that have been widely volatile, and now this weekend didn't happen anything. Yesterday didn't happen anything, besides the US dollar breaking even lower. And I have some interesting statistics I want to bring today, but nothing is happening. So what should we be looking at? Well, at these times that literally nothing around war, geopolitics, politics are happening, market is more than happy to take risk. Okay, so that being said, New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, euro, pound, all of these currencies, like the yen as well, are, you know, are getting a lot of flows into them, and that means that they are getting bullish. All right, so anything longing those currencies against Canadian dollar or even US dollar, you know, we saw US dollar continue to drop below the consolidation where I thought it would be, you know, where I thought it would be the case for the week, pretty much until Thursday. It broke through last night, so on Tuesday night for us. But you know, it's just too much calm. So what are we going to do today is I'm going to go through over some data that we got from yesterday. So we got the GDP from UK and the German CPI, and then today we're going to get the Europe CPI and the Fed chair Paul giving us a speech, and the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI. That's late in the night at 11:45. Chair Paul is 11:30. And the Europe CPI is at 7 p.m. and this is all in Australia, Sydney time, okay? But before we go any further, I just wanted to remember that today is Tuesday, and therefore we do have the webinar, all right? So from 4 to 5 p.m. in Sydney time, we have the webinar, and that will be free for everyone. The easiest way for you to join is go to the description of this video and join the Telegram, all right? So go into the Telegram and join me there, and then I will send the link at 4 p.m. for free, so everyone can just click into the Zoom link and join us live. And you can come ask me questions, you know, anything. Cool. So yesterday we had the German CPI came in at a big zero. All right, so below the previous, below the consensus, very, very well. You know, German controlling inflation at zero. How good is that, and how bad could that be? All right, how good? It's good in a sense for the population. How bad is that for the next month? If anything comes above that, we will continue to have inflationary pressures. So therefore, it's not the best thing to have inflation at zero, but it shows that there is, you know, it has been having some sort of reflect on what the ECB has been doing. And most likely that will continue to be the case of, you know, just slowly getting done. Now the GDP from UK came in line as the consensus. So the GDP quarter one came in at 0.7%, same as the consensus was expecting. And the previous was 0.1%. The GDP year-over-year quarter one actually coming in at 1.3% as the consensus was expecting, and a little bit below the previous. That the previous was 1.5. So tiny bit below previous, but still pretty good. Okay. Now today we're going to be looking at the Europe side. So we're going to go for CPI at 7 p.m. on Europe. Expectations are at 2%, and that's the year-over-year. It's very important. Then we previously had 1.9%. So basically a tiny bit of a, you know, very tiny bit, so 0.1% higher than the previous. Looking at that, most likely what we can have the scenario here is a strengthening scenario for Europe, okay? Because even if the data comes really bad or really off, it doesn't really matter in a sense, because we will continue to see the Europe having a bit more of strength in the next coming months because of the weakness of the US dollar. So there's nothing to do with data, there's nothing to do with risk on and risk off. It's basically about the US dollar. US dollar continue to lower, continue to be bearish, we will continue to have a bullish euro. And that's quite interesting, right? Because lots of things are happening and the euro is basically a gouge for the US dollar. Yes, that's correct. So continue to long euro dollar is not a bad opinion, it's not a bad option. It's just need to be careful with the pullback. So wait for bigger pullbacks and then start to look at those retracements. Now, gold has been going up since yesterday. So gold has been going from $3,250 all the way up now to $3,320 right now as I'm speaking of. You know, that reflects a little bit of cautions about the Fed and the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and also the China. So yes, there is a bit of rumors here that China and US are trying to sort of have a partnership, and then they're trying to pass the Congress a bill that is a $3 trillion bill. You know, so lots of things, nothing yet very concrete, so I can't tell you what actually it is. So interesting times. No. What do I think it can possibly happen over the week is that we will continue to have these sort of movements. Most likely US dollar index will probably come back a little bit on that consolidation. And then even if we have a little bit softer than expected, that opens the light already for the Fed to continue to cut. Because remember yesterday I've mentioned it, there's 3 cuts priced in for the Fed now. All combined is at 75 base points. So 25, 25, and 25. Nothing for July, September, October, and December, right? So these are the 3 ones that the CME Fed Watch Tool is presenting to us with a high chance of happening. Cool. That being said, I continue to believe on a strong euro, strong pound, strong Aussie, strong New Zealand dollar, weaker Canadian dollar, stronger Japanese yen as well. Most likely, we will continue to see US dollar lowering, all right, having to go to lower levels. Maybe even I have a target that I've been mentioning about the US dollar index is at 96,500, right? So 96,500 is my target for the US dollar index, and if that happens, we will probably continue to see euro dollar up at 1.18500, all right, or maybe even 1.19 in this week, all right. So that being said, I leave it everyone here for now. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up, and if you have any questions you can just put down at the comments, or you can bring those questions this afternoon for me on the webinar. It's simply to join, go to the description, join the Telegram link, and then soon it hits 4 p.m. we'll send you the link, the live link, so you can join me and send me the questions that you may have. Alright guys, thank you so much, have a great week ahead, and I talk to you in the next video, or I talk to you this afternoon on the webinar. See you all, bye bye.